Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge led by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Everyone bow their heads and say the Lord's Prayer. The Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Everyone face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Here. Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember Dee Dee Johnson-Reed. Here. Councilmember Dustin Swear.
Here.
Thank you. Item 1 is public comment. Please put your cell phones on silent or vibrate. And there's no back and forth in public comment. We just take your comments and listen to them. Go ahead.
Renee Stansberry for agenda item number 4B.
Y'all want to put those under the public hearing?
Hi, council members. Hi, Mayor. Thank you for having me here tonight. If you just bear with me, I'm reading a statement on behalf of Lisa Granger. She's the league operator with the American Pool Players Association, the Acadiana chapter. So forgive me while I pull that up. Sometimes technology. Okay. So this is a statement on her behalf. She wasn't able to make it tonight because of prior obligations, but has prepared the statement for me to read. To whom it may concern, as a non-smoker, I can attest to the fact that secondhand smoke has literally kept me ill. I run pool tournaments, sometimes 6 to 8 weekends in a row year-round. This 3-day tournaments are large tournaments where 300 plus people are in attendance. During this time, my eyes would burn, my chest would hurt, and my glands would swell, where they were so inflamed and tender to the touch. At the end of 8 weeks, I was literally in the doctor's office spending money on prescriptions and missing the next week of work due to sinus infections caused by smoke inhalation. And I wasn't the only one. My staff of 6 that would assist in running these tournaments would have the same issues. Pool players who didn't smoke would complain that their eyes would burn and their throat would hurt and they couldn't breathe. Thus, they would get sick. Playing pool is recreation. I have players that quit playing because they can't deal with the smoke. And it's worse at the smaller bars and have little ventilation or no ventilation. It's a non-smoker's nightmare. From talking to a lot of smokers, I learned that for the most part, when they are home, they go outside to smoke. So why can't they do the same at pool halls? We have league in Lafayette, and we're thankful that the smoke-free ordinance is in place. Our team count has grown there, and I feel that it's mostly due to the smoke-free environment. The non-smokers are enjoying playing pool, and the smokers just step outside. It's a win-win. Thank you for your time, and I encourage you all to support the ordinance and make bars, taverns, and pool halls in your city smoke-free and safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Landry to discuss agenda item number 4B.
Thank y'all very much for your time, and Ms. Renee does a good job. I want y'all to know. She was at our police jury meeting this past week. My feeling on it is, from a business owner, I think that we should be able to decide what we want and the way we run our business. I call them the 3 big killers in town here. My store, Tobacco Plus, and Murphy's. We're all smoke-free, and I think we should just allow it for the business to decide. If this bar, that pool hall that she was talking about, would find out that that they would get more business. I think that they could decide and let it have on that. We have a lot of regulations and rules you have to follow. I was fighting one of them today, and I just, this is going to be another ordinance. It's just pretty much going to sit on the side of everything. I just don't see the police coming running there to write me a ticket because somebody's smoking when they should be patrolling some of the areas where we have some bigger issues on there. So, again, it's just an issue about business. It's not about the smoking and things like that. It's pretty much taking care of itself with society. And if you do anything, I would like the tobacco stores taken out of it and forget the 51%. And even the vape stores, you know, how often do you go to a convenience store and you pick up a new Mountain Dew with raspberry and strawberry cream in it and you take a taste? You know, no, make them buy the thing, and if they didn't like it, then, you know, they'd know not to buy it next time. But I just think it's, you know, businesses can make their own decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcus Boudreau to discuss agenda item number 4B.
I'd like to thank the council for hearing me today, and I'll just come straight forward because she mentioned Lafayette. I don't know if people realize Lafayette does not have a no smoking ordinance. The city of Lafayette does not have it. It's a parish ordinance, not the city. Not the city. Lafayette has none. Lafayette Parish Plus has state non-hospitality, 100% smoke-free workplaces, 100% smoke-free restaurants, 100% freestanding bars. Lafayette itself, no smoking, and smoke-free non-hospitality workplaces. In Lafayette, without the parish passing, you could have smoked in a restaurant. You can still smoke in a bar, the parish wouldn't have passed it. Calcasieu Parish, you can smoke in a non-hospitality workplace. You can smoke in a restaurant, you can't smoke in a bar. Lake Charles, you can't smoke in a bar, but the other two places you can. So if y'all wanna vote for this, maybe y'all need to think about it and say, okay, if we're gonna hurt the bars in Iberia, it's all or none. It's all or none. I mean, you can, I cited, in fact, this is the America's Non-Smokers' Rights Foundation that put this out. And this is from, it's referenced Terrence Robinson, Wellhead, Louisiana. Access from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention of Chronic Disease. 17 parishes have comprehensive smoke-free air laws at the city and parish level in 2020. Rapides Parish has the most comprehensive city smoke-free air laws with 8. 10 cities only have one city ordinance, and 3 cities have 2 or 3 city ordinances. Lafayette and Alcatraz Parish are the only 2 parishes that have comprehensive smoke-free air laws denoted. So before y'all make that vote, let me think about that. Y'all gonna hurt the businesses in the city and just let the parish, everybody's gonna go to the parish. We did the same thing for gambling. You can go down 182, you go 10 feet, you can gamble, but we can't gamble in the city. Or I'm sorry, Iberia Parish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie Cyprian? Okay.
Thank you.
Kathy Richard for agenda item number,
She's not speaking.
okay.
Thank you.
Desiree Sherville. This is against agenda item number 4B.
Yes. I'm here today because I am a local business owner and a bar owner. And I would have to say probably 60 to 65% of my patrons do smoke. They do have the option to smoke outside. I do have a covered patio, and the availability is there. The issues that I have is kind of the same issue Marcus just brought up, which is about it being strictly city limits. I think it has to be, or it should be parish, because all that's going to happen, my patrons are just going to drive down the road and they're gonna go smoke at another bar. We have been struggling, all businesses, but especially bars, over the last 2 years with COVID. And this is just coming at the worst time possible. We're all finally getting on our feet and trying to get our business back. People are feeling comfortable about coming out again in public because of COVID, and then now we're throwing this out. And I really don't see how some of us are going to be able to survive this. My second point is, I really, for all businesses, can't see how 20 feet from an open entrance or exit it's impossible. I don't know if people realize how far 20 feet is, but I did pull out a measuring tape. I do know of at least 4 bars that do have non-smoking in New Iberia. So there are choices. People do not have to come to my bar if they don't want to be around smoke. They can go to another bar downtown like Carabella's, who doesn't have smoking, but he's limited on space outside of his place. And y'all saying it has to be 20 feet. He can't even cross the street and have people smoke because there's another business right across the street. So you're not just affecting the businesses that are trying to not have smoking in their business, to give people an option. You're expecting the businesses that do allow smoking. So I just feel like that maybe needs to be something that needs to be revisited and looked at again. I respect I do not smoke, me nor my husband. We have had the bar for 13 years. I've never had any issues with it, but I'm sure there are people who do. I just feel like we're adults and you have a choice. You have a choice to go work somewhere else if you don't want to be around smoke. You have a choice to find other activities that lead to not being around smoke. There are choices out there for everybody. And I think we just need to work on maybe rethinking some of these guidelines in this ordinance. Thank you.
Rika Triggs for agenda item number 4B.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the New Iberia City Council. My name is Rika Triggs, and I am with the American Heart Association, and I cover the southern region. And on behalf of our staff and volunteers, I want to stress our full support of this ordinance as a life-saving measure. So the American Heart Association is dedicated to fighting heart disease as the #1 killer in the country, as well as stroke, which is the #5 killer in the country. Secondhand smoke is the leading risk factor for heart disease, stroke, and cancer. The U.S. Surgeon General report states that there's no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand smoke, and any exposure has an immediate and adverse effect on the cardiovascular system. The good news is that exposure to secondhand smoke is a preventable risk factor that you have the power to address by passing the smoke-free ordinance today. The U.S. Surgeon General report also states a way to fully protect non-smokers from harmful secondhand smoke is to prohibit smoking indoors and simply ask smokers to step outside to smoke. While many businesses are already smoke-free, there are still too many employees in New Iberia that have to breathe in over 7,000 chemicals every second of their work shift. Non-smokers who work in smoking establishments have the equivalent of about 36 cigarettes over the course of an 8-hour shift through secondhand smoke exposure. No one should have to choose between their health and their paycheck. In addition, we know smoke-free laws are the simplest and most cost-effective way to improve both worker and business health. Not only are non-smokers more willing to stay in an establishment longer, businesses have healthier and more productive employees, less damage to property, and lower cleaning and operation cost. Despite what others may claim, study after study in cities has shown that there's no harm to business that occurs through this ordinance. Smokers simply go outside to smoke like they're already used to doing in most establishments in the state. So on behalf of the Heart Association, again, I urge you to pass this comprehensive smoke-free ordinance that covers all indoor workplaces in New Iberia. Your leadership tonight will help to improve the health and quality of life of all who live here. Thank you.
Richard Phillips against agenda item number 4B.
I don't know if this council had the opportunity to read a editorial that I wrote 2 weeks ago. I think if you did, you'd know exactly what my position is. It has to do with liberty. It has nothing to do with smoking. I'm not a smoker, so I'm not standing up for smoking. I'm only a citizen of the United States. I thought that we had life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness guaranteed to us. I think there's a limit to what the government is going to do in the public good when you have a constitution that gives people certain rights. We just finished doing the Pledge of Allegiance that ended with liberty and justice for all. The word liberty keeps coming up, doesn't it? There was somebody who said, give me liberty or give me death. That's a pretty extreme statement about liberty. And I also recall seeing a flag that said, don't tread on me.
Thank you.
Reagan Carter for agenda item number 4B.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Reagan Carter. I'm the Louisiana consultant with Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights Foundation and American Non-Smokers' Rights. We are a national organization that works on smoke-free policies. I will have some talking points that I will share, but I first want to address some misinformation. There are 30 cities and parishes in the state of Louisiana that have smoke-free ordinances. The information was shared from our website, but it was an old fact sheet, so I wanted to clarify that. The city of Lafayette is smoke-free, and that ordinance also includes the incorporated areas of Lafayette Parish. In terms of a smoke-free ordinance, I will say that tobacco and smoking-related illnesses cost $1.9 billion per year in healthcare costs to the state of Louisiana. Louisiana currently ranks last among health outcomes, and the parish of Iberia, which the new Iberia sits in, is among the last half of those outcomes. And take into account those outcomes, tobacco use and exposure to secondhand smoke is a key indicator. In 2007, the state of Louisiana implemented a statewide law that requires all restaurants to be smoke-free. In reference to government and liberties, it is the exact job and responsibility of the government to implement laws and policies to protect the health and safety of citizens. We do this every single day in government. We tell restaurants the temperature of water, the temperature of refrigerators. We tell other businesses the temperature of how their air conditioning units have to work. It is absolutely the job of government to protect the health and safety of citizens. Those who do not smoke are having their rights compromised by a minority of people who smoke within any community and within any state. When airlines went smoke-free years ago, we thought that airlines would go out of business. The businesses actually flourished once the airlines became smoke-free. At this point, no one could even imagine being on an airplane with someone smoking. Smoke-free is good for businesses because it's good for those who patronize and work in those businesses. Louisiana cities of Shreveport, New Orleans, the capital city of Baton Rouge, and your neighbor Lafayette all enjoy the privileges and the revenue from smoke-free ordinances. I ask you to please vote yes on smoke-free.
Thank you.
Arthur Malvo for agenda item number 4B.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. My name is Arthur Malvo. I'm a sophomore at Westgate High School. This is my first year as a part of the Next Era program at Westgate, but I'm already passionate about the program's mission. Iberia Parish needs to be smoke-free indoors, not only for the safety of employees and patrons, but for the better overall aura of many establishments in Iberia Parish. Although I'm not old enough to attend these establishments, this smoke-free ordinance will still affect me because it affects the people around me who may choose to go to these establishments for entertainment or work. This ordinance will protect everyone from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke. Other parishes, such as the previously mentioned Lafayette Parish, have already established indoor smoke-free ordinances, and they have seen the positive effects of doing so. Just because Iberia Parish wasn't the first parish to do this, it doesn't mean we have to be the last. This smoke-free ordinance is a good thing, and it is one stepping stone that we can easily take to lead to a happier and healthier community. As a younger member of this community, I beg you to vote for rather than against this smoke-free ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Keith Hewland, against agenda item number 4B.
How y'all doing? My name's Keith Hewland. I own Emerald Billiards in New Iberia. It's the largest sports bar in the country. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, been in it. It's huge. I host major tournaments, like she was saying earlier, with a smoke-free weekend for them. The people that play my league during the week has the choice to walk in that door if they want to play it. If they don't want to play, if they don't want to go in a smoking building, go to another building that has the ban up, or they're not smoking. People choose what they want to do. You're not going to you can't come to my building. I pay the taxes on it every year. I bought that building, and tell me I got to tell him he can't smoke when he wants to, you know? But like I said, I work with everybody. We host these major tournaments. I make it smoke-free for the weekend. Nobody smokes inside. They all go outside. But my league play during the week, these people choose to come in this place. It's smoking, but they choose to come in with smoking. If they don't want, go somewhere else. The big thing is the 20 feet away from the building. If this does pass, that's for a building. I would invest $18,000 to make places to stand up for they can go smoke out there. That's another cost on my business. Y'all don't smoke, y'all don't come. That's all it is, you know? It's easy. It's an easy choice. You don't have to come to my place if you don't smoke. I have a lot of non-smokers that come there. I have a huge filtration system in there, and it works well. They choose, they come in, they play, they leave. I don't hear nothing about it, you know? But who's to say, hey, you can't smoke in your building anymore? I pay the taxes, I pay for that building. That's mine. If I go to your house, you say don't smoke in it, I'm not gonna smoke in it. Because why? It's yours. Same thing with that one down the road. I mean, I don't know, silly, I think, you know? Yeah, it's not healthy. I know it's not healthy. I'm a smoker, you're not a smoker, it's not healthy. But you choose to walk in that door. Choose another door that has non-smoking. Choose another door. They got a bunch out there. Don't pick on the smoking people. We got rights just like y'all got rights. That's how I look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate everybody. There's a lot of comments. We don't normally get that many. I appreciate it. It's government at work. We moving on to item 2.
Acceptance of the minutes of March 2nd, 2022, which will publish on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and I think Councilman Marlon Lewis had the second. Is there any discussion on our minutes from the meeting of March the 2nd? Hearing, seeing none, I'd please ask you to vote your machines. Thank y'all. All right, 3A.
Public hearing for special ordinance number 2021-2022-06, amending the budget to reflect debt service on 2020 refunding bond and to reflect cost of contract for lighting on city slips.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by, don't know who was first. Okay, Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any public comment on this item? We all public commented out. Hearing and seeing no public comment, I need a motion to close our public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Thank y'all. Now we move on to 3B.
Public hearing for ordinance number 2022-03, adding Article 6 of Chapter 38 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of New Iberia, consisting of sections 38-90 through 38-95, prohibiting smoking in specified areas.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion, I'm gonna give this one to Councilman David Broussard and a second to Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Everybody who had public comment, get up again? No. Is there any additional public comment? Because there could be.
Except for one thing, which she quoted, you are right.
Stand up and approach the podium if you're gonna make another comment. And I welcome it, you just gotta do it the right way. All right.
I have that from the website where she's from. And if you subtract, there's 36 places. So you subtract Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish, but it excludes Baker, Central, and Zachary. And Calcasieu, that's one, so you take that out of the thing. So when you subtract that, she is correct, it comes down to 30.
Okay.
This list includes the parish and the cities, not just the cities.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Any other public comment on this item? Oh,
I would like to say something again.
yes, ma'am, that's fine.
I agree with Mr. Hewline. Nobody's going to be there to help us cover these expenses of the 20 feet away from the building and make it acceptable and for our patrons to be able to go outside, especially during the rainy weather we have. You know, Louisiana can be kind of up and down. It was cold this weekend, like next weekend is going to be hot. So you're going to need to have a facility to accommodate these people. I totally understand. I can't stop people from smoke. I can't tell people what to do. I just feel like that's not my right to tell them what to do. So it's going to be a big expense for people, especially if we keep the 20 feet ordinance. And I, once again, push that this needs to be parish, not just city. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for our public comment? No? All right, then I need a motion to close our public comment.
Motion.
I had a bunch of them. I don't know who. I'm just gonna go Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. I heard you too, but I don't know where you went.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you all very much. Good discussion again. Now we move on to 4A.
Right. Special ordinance 2021-2022-06, amending the budget to reflect debt service on 2020 refunding bond and to reflect cost of contract for lighting on city slips.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. All right, 4B.
Ordinance number 2022-03, adding Article 6 of Chapter 38 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of New Iberia, consisting of sections 38-90 through 38-95, prohibiting smoking in specified areas.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion on this item? I'll call on Jeff first, our city attorney. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. I just want to talk about the 20-foot rule, because what it says in 3892A4 is that you can't smoke within 20 feet of the entrance or exit to any building or facility occupied or operated by the city or any of its agencies, or building or facility occupied or operated by the parish or any of its agencies within the city. So I think the 20-foot rule applies to entrances and exits at public places and not private businesses. So if somebody comes to my office, they're gonna smoke in the parking lot like they always have, and it's not gonna be 20 feet away from my door. And whether or not, I want that in my parking lot, that's fine, but I don't think I'm required to keep a 20-foot zone outside of the entrance to my office because it's not a public building. So I think that's the only place the 20-foot rule is in the ordinance, and I don't think it applies to all doors.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Is there any other discussion on this item? No discussion? Oh, yes, sir.
You know, I think we've heard some really good discussion tonight, and just want to clarify, my vote tonight is not on the health of the community or the health of the parishioners in this parish. I think it's all about choice of the business. And like I said in the previous meeting, is that, 95% of businesses have no smoking signs currently. There's very few that do allow smoking. What's the harm of them putting no smoking sign up and governing it themselves? We invest in our own businesses. I'm a business owner, and I do what I have to do so they don't smoke in my tractors. But, I think the business owners are afforded the right to make a decision based on their business. And I think if they choose it, that model is choice to impede that their business declines because of smoking, let them make that choice. I don't think we should force their hand. And this vote tonight is based on the rights of businesses to make a decision because, let's face it, it may not make a big difference in everybody sitting in this room, but if 1 or 2 bar owners go out of business because people can't smoke in their business, then sales tax start going down. It may be just a small amount, but we want to promote our businesses and we want to let business thrive in our community. And to make that happen, we got to give them their rights and let them make their own decisions. And not only smoking, but just other choices as well. And I found that some of the statistics tonight were great. Some of the arguments are great, and I think I don't smoke myself, and I don't care to. But one individual said that we're ranked in the lower portion of health in the state of Louisiana. I find that hard to believe when 95% of business don't allow smoking in the city. Only a few do. So you're telling me that most of our constituents in our city go to these bars, that's why they're unhealthy? I don't believe it. But in that case, I think that, we need to make a decision based on choice of American people and where they can make their business prosper. And I really think the non-smoking individuals did a great job, and I commend you for that because it is a health concern, but let's give them the choice, my opinion only.
Thank you.
Over here, Frank.
Okay, who?
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
You go ahead.
Sure?
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't know
fine.
Ms. Broussard
No, that's
had his
fine.
hand
Then
up.
I'll call Mr. Broussard.
Okay, so, again, my vote is going to be based on the health and the safety of all of the community, not just for the bar owners. We are government at work. This is what government does. We pass ordinances to protect the people of our city, and I think it's important that we actually put this in place to protect the health and safety of all the citizens in New Iberia, whether they work in a bar or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Broussard, call on you.
Protect the rights of the people. Businesses that own their businesses should be able to smoke in their businesses if they choose so. Don't go if you don't like it. I do not want to be a dictator telling businesses what can be done in their businesses. It's your right. You're taking away businesses, taxes. Well, I don't smoke, I don't go. So it's just, we have to keep some rights to some people. Their rights are being taken away. They like the entertainment of going in a bar and smoke, drink. Hope they don't come out drunk enough where they get a DWI, but they enjoy doing it. But in a big way, I don't like taking rights away from people. And these smoking establishments where they sell the smokes, it's hurting them personally. It's going to be a hurting thing on a lot of businesses, not just a few bars. It's going to affect some of these 5, 6 smoke places that sell the smoke items. So I just don't want to be caught being a dictator and sometimes let some people enjoy what they're doing. And musicians, if they don't want to sing in there, don't go. They have jukeboxes, just good as singers. You follow me? So that's I don't want to be a dictator telling people what they can and can't do.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Smith.
Yeah, after the past few meetings, everybody pretty much knows my stance on this. I want to thank the ones that came tonight and spoke up, also in opposition. I'm also going to thank the ones that are putting forth the effort to try and do this, but I can't imagine So what's happening is we keep on saying that we're just gonna protect the private businesses, but basically all I'm hearing is bars. And to me, that's what this ordinance is attacking, bars. Because like Ricky said, 95% of businesses in the city don't allow smoking in them. And the ones that do are pretty much bars. So I just don't feel like we're doing the right thing by just attacking these businesses the way we are. So that's my take on it, so, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, I was just gonna vote, because I'm voting on the health and well-being of, everybody, that's how I'm gonna vote. I made my decision a long time ago, I prayed, I searched my community to see what, they wanted. But I will say this, it's not an attack, it's protection. It's not an attack, it's protection. So I don't have an attack mode for none of this. I have a protect mode. I was elected to protect people, and I understand the concept of business. I own a business for 30 years. I've been owning a business, and everybody do business different. For 30 years, I've never told nobody, if you don't like what I do, don't come. Go to the next. I'm open for business, and let's do business. And if they do something I don't like, then I'll ask them to leave. But I'll never say, I'll never say, go somewhere else. I mean, that's just not how I do business. 30 years, barbershop, pretty good business.
I have a comment.
I'm done.
Okay, good. Yes, ma'am.
This is a health issue. This is not a rights issue. If we had it to be a rights issue, some people say that, they have certain rights. And they have certain rights at certain times, and rights are good for certain people. And that's an issue separate from this, the rights of people. For a long time, people that look like me didn't have certain rights. So it shouldn't ever be about rights, because everybody is supposed to be equal under the law, and their rights should be the same. So we've stepped into that category rather than making it what it is. We're here to do a job. It's about doing what's best for our community. And we do have to make laws in order for people to follow them so that they are not injured or hurt. And that is why we have been elected. And that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Might as well join in again.
Yes, ma'am. That's kind of how it works around here.
Yeah, I was like Mr. Marlowe, I was just going to vote. But I did reach out to Lafayette Consolidated Government when we first started talking about this, and they went through the same thing. They had the people for and against. It was a back and forth issue. They faced a lot of heat, but in the long run, it did work out. They're not having any issues with businesses functioning as non-smoking. They have not noticed a decrease in patrons to go to their bars or any restaurants. Everything is actually working well for them. And yes, we are up here to create laws to make it a safe space. Whenever you own a business, there are certain rules you have to follow for the safety of the public. And that's just kind of what we're trying to do right now. I had people reach out to me personally that are performers in bar rooms, and they want to do that. That's their passion. They love it. However, it's affecting their voices and their health. So what do? Do they just stop performing or just go to Lafayette and perform there? It's just, I don't know. I feel like you can't really win with everybody, and that's where we're at right now. Even the council, we're all kind of split up here. But I think in the long run, it's going to be a good thing for everybody to be smoke-free inside. We're not asking y'all to quit smoking altogether. Just smoke outside, that's all. That's it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? All right. Well, then, please vote your machines. Thank you. All right. Moving on to 5A.
Resolution 22-37, authorizing the mayor to enter into a supplemental cooperative endeavor agreement with the Iberia Sports Complex Commission for the city to assume all operations, management, and improvements of the Pepperplex Sports Complex.
This is our divorce papers. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item? And quite simply, this is, and it's all been worked out, you know, almost a year ago now, we went to all of the participants in the Pepperplex, all the boards, all the commissions, Evangeline Little League, Soccer League, had a nice conversation about us stepping in, finding a way to fund it. It would become a city facility, and everybody agreed. But it's time to do this. As you know, our $3 million has been approved, and we have the money. Construction will start in July. The next item is to hire our director. So it's just time. This is just kind of housekeeping and part of our business that we need to handle. So that's why it's here tonight. But everybody knew about it, and I do jokingly call it the divorce papers. But
So
anyway.
basically, though, what we're doing is we're taking over the Pepperplex as one of our city parks.
Correct.
Okay.
It will have its own director. It'll be its own entity. We have a funding source through the Economic Development District,
Yes.
and it will be our own entity. But I just want everybody to know, you know, what we're doing.
Yeah.
So is there any questions or discussion? Yes, ma'am.
So are we responsible for cutting the grass now?
Well, at some point we will be. The fact is, we don't even have a lawnmower yet for that facility, so we're gonna have to kind of talk about it, but it's coming fast and we know it. We're not starting construction until July 1. But this is the first step. The director is the second step. The third step is to procure equipment and, you know, get ourselves organized for July. So it's
Okay.
coming.
Okay, just curious, because we're playing on those fields now.
Yes, ma'am.
So she'll be calling Public Works.
Yeah, really, huh? Grass complaint. It's 12 inches. No, anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, 5B.
Resolution 22-38, appointing Richard Romero as director of the Pepperplex Sports Complex.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis, and I think Councilman Dustin Swear was the loudest, so I don't know if he was second.
Thank you, Mayor.
Is there any discussion? And we do have Richard Romero here tonight.
That was my question.
Yeah, I
Can
knew
you
that
come
was
up? You
coming.
know it.
Richard, come on up if you don't mind. Yeah. And I did not select Richard because he got a good hairdo. Briefly, while Richard's up there, I'll just tell you, you know, we had 5 applicants, reviewed them all. Richard has the exact experience that we would love to have, and I hope you see it fit. Richard has been the director of college sports in Arizona State. He's also been the director of the Broussard Park, and then now I think you were doing the whole Parks and Rec.
Correct.
So he's got quite the experience. But Richard, introduce yourself and.
Well, first of all, thank you, Council and Mayor, but it's the U of A, not Arizona State. Let's get
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
straight right
I'm
now.
sorry. All right, I'm messing up already.
Big difference.
Number one seed.
All right, all right.
That's right.
Thank you.
Number one
So,
seed.
Yeah, so I'm Richard Romero. I grew up down here on the bayou off of Tesh and Arlene Street, and went away for a bunch of years, and now I'm back, and I'm looking forward to getting this place going and whatever challenges it brings and working with everybody to make it happen. I've heard the stories about the different entities involved, and I think more than anything, it just needs to have one source and get on the right path, and I think the $3 million will help get us along a good ways that way, and hopefully there'll be some additional funding down the road.
Good. Any questions for Richard? Yes, ma'am.
So after this meeting, do I contact you if the grass needs to be cut?
Yes, and I was just telling Jimmy back there that I'm very good on a zero turn.
Okay, perfect, thank you. That's all.
So, Rich, I know you're going to be a part of, you're going to be running the Pepperplex, but we actually have some kids that actually will need to practice in other parks so that they can actually start teams to participate in the program over at the Pepperplex. So we'll be looking for your help to kind of get us some coaches and get some of our kids involved so that they can also enjoy the new Pepperplex and the investment that the city is making.
Absolutely, and I believe there's some plans maybe to improve some of the the other parks possibly?
We have been talking about that, and actually later tonight, we throw in another 150,000 at Bank. So yes, there is, Rich and I have talked, and we see Bank Park as a great overflow park. We have to plan on succeeding. We feel that if we can get it up to the level, we attract some tournaments, that can be practice fields, that could be overflow fields.
Right.
We have some big plans for Bank, and so that's why he's already saying that, because we've actually been having those discussions, along with Heather, and, like I said, more money is going into Bank Park. There's another 150 tonight, so we've
That's
asked for
great.
capital outlay for Bank Park. We have ARPA money going to Bank Park as well as all the other parks. I mean, I think it's all gonna come together.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All I want to say, you started with the new Broussard Park. You were the first director there?
No, sir, I've been there for about 2.5 years.
About 2.5 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty cool operation
It
over there.
is. It's an impressive facility.
What are the hopes of ours looking?
Well, the infields are gonna look that way, right? There'll be
Okay.
turf.
Okay.
But we'll still have the grass outfield, so we'll resemble more of Youngsville's
There you go.
park. They
There you
have
go.
grass there on
Yeah,
there.
and I like you coming back to bring, you like, I think it's LeBron James or Shaq, one of them said, I'm bringing my talents down to,
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it,
bring your
it feels
talent
good
home.
being home,
yeah, I like that.
for sure.
Got a good resume.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Then, I'd ask you to please vote your machines.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team.
Well, Richard, you got a job. Thank you. And thanks to everybody else who applied. You know, we had interest, and it's always good that people want to be involved with us. So hopefully we got more good things coming. I know we do. 5C.
Resolution 22-39, awarding contract to Glenn Leger Construction Company for the 2021 Streets Project asphalt overlay, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Markcott. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
So when's the go time?
Let's get our engineer up and he'll be able to tell us.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So basically, once you award tonight, I do the notice of award package. That takes about 30 days to get the contract to them. They get it back to me, check everything, get it to the city, and they execute. And then we schedule a pre-construction meeting after that. So about 45 days is about the typical time frame from the time that you say award till we get a pre-construction meeting, you know, to get all the documents executed and signed and delivered. So,
So about another, so 30 days.
so
How many days after the pre-construction meeting, you think?
typically within 2 weeks.
Within 2
So,
weeks?
I mean, you 30 to 60 days before you're gonna see the first crew on site.
Okay.
So that's a typical time frame,
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
and they're gonna hit the ground running.
And before the,
One at a
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry.
One at a time. I know. It's a big conversation.
okay,
You had, Councilwoman Ledbetter had her hand up, next. No, it's okay.
apologize.
Ain't no apology.
Are we going to know where they're gonna start?
That will be part of the documentation they have to submit to us, in those project submittals they have to submit when we go to the pre-construction, and the schedule's one of them.
And you'll pass it on to us?
Oh, yeah, once, I mean, that's gonna be some for discussion before they start, because we have to do public notices, you know, we have to get advertisements done. The contractor actually notifies the residents with door hangers, before they start on the street. But, you know, there's some logistics here, that we have to work through, especially because we have some streets next to schools. So we, in the scope, we have to tackle those while the kids are on summer break, because we don't wanna have a road in construction when school lets in. So, in the beginning of the project, there's gonna be some emphasis on those streets first, and if they can fit some other stuff in, they'll work the schedule. But the schedule is really for them to dictate, and, you know, we massage as needed.
Okay.
But we'll get you that, when we get it from the contractors.
And this is not your first rodeo, so the good
No.
thing is, you know, I feel very comfortable with y'all. You have coordinated this before, many years ago for the city.
Many times.
Good, good. Yes, sir.
Just a quick, I know I talked to him before the meeting, but I guess the mayor's gonna do some PR on where we're gonna be working at, but just kind of a off-the-box question. What did the contract say with the reclaim asphalt? Being we fixing to do a big expansion of Pepperplex parking lot, just thinking.
It's
there.
theirs to dispose
Oh,
of.
it's theirs to dispose, so we'd have
Yeah.
to maybe have our mayor talk to the contractor.
Yeah, it's not a bad
You
idea.
can crush asphalt.
Take
Typically,
whatever I can get.
typically in the past, the city didn't want to have to take ownership because it's a stockpile issue. It's like, where do you put that
We
much
got a use for it
material?
now.
Yeah.
So, the contract's set up where it's theirs to dispose of.
All right, good, thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Actually, she asked my question, so I
Yeah.
don't need to ask.
Okay, okay. We got okay,
No, I was just gonna say they
Councilman?
beat me to that motion, cause, Glenn Leger, I know he a good I got a good friend that worked for Matt Duran, J.B. Talley and all this. I kinda went over it with him and he's like, oh yeah, Glenn Leger, that's a good company. He worked asphalt, hot and cold mix and all that good stuff for years. So I want to make that motion on his behalf, but I'm glad we got Glenn Leger.
good, good.
They were actually the company that did the first road project.
Right.
First asphalt, second asphalt project.
Good, good. Councilwoman Markite?
Is it only one street at a time, or is the crew
No.
big enough to do
No,
two
the
or
way this
three?
is gonna work, I mean, there's a lot of reconstruction, so those are gonna kinda most likely get done first, cause they take time to get done. But typically what they do when we get into the what we call the patch and overlay, they're gonna come in with a patch crew, they're gonna patch a bunch of streets, get them prepped, and the overlay crew is gonna come in for a week or two and then overlay, I mean, they overlay fast. I
Okay.
mean, they'll overlay an entire street one day. So depending on, and it could be multiple streets depending how long they are.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
overlay process goes really quick.
Okay.
And I mean, you can drive on it within an hour, once they get it rolled in and cooled off.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a lot of prep work, those crews are gonna come in and you're gonna get some complaints when they're gonna finish, that's gonna happen. But, the overlay crews, they come in and they don't come in until they have a lot prepped for them because they're quick.
Okay.
So, but half the project in this scope is reconstructions. So those are gonna get a lot of emphasis in the beginning, just because they take longer to do. And there's more processing, and more process steps to that street than the regular patch and overlay.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I have one, just real quick, we've talked about it before, that's utility company coordination, because once we know the streets are where they're going, we gotta contact those people, because they tear our streets up sometimes a month after they're finished. I really would like one more, once I have a schedule, to really try to do a meeting, we'll get them all in here and just say, we're about to hit the go button, is there some kind of project you have to do, can you get it done?
Well,
Because I am worried about that.
We coordinated with the sewer, with Vince, and we've got that worked out on a couple of streets. that
Right,
we
I'm just
have
kind of
done.
worried about our other utilities. We need to at least make an effort.
Yeah.
I watched Indes Street many, many years ago get ripped up 2 months after and probably has 10 patch holes in it now, but that's just an example. So at least help me make that effort. If they got to do something after or something breaks, I understand, but I would at least like to know we tried.
We need to have a coordination meeting.
will.
Just between them and the
I
contractor.
agree. Well, I do those, when a new developer comes, I get a developer meeting, I get all of my department heads, we get all the utility providers in here from the very beginning to answer all their questions and try to cut a lot of red tape out. I think we're gonna do one of those with this, because, I would really like to, I'm gonna be jacked if they tear us up right after we finish.
You have the power.
No, I only got so much money to spend. We only have so much money to spend. I can't, and then their patches are never as good as the road. They're never gonna be, so.
No comment.
Anyway, thank you. Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. This is exciting.
Thank you.
And our next bids will come when? John? Concrete patch.
So the concrete project, because of just the cost of this project, we want to get into this one.
Yes.
Just to get some money flowing, but we're shooting for June. The package is pretty much done. I mean, we just have a few things left to do on it, but it's just, we don't want to get into too much too fast.
I don't. I want to
You
see
know,
how this goes,
yeah.
because, y'all, as y'all understand, it's all quantity bids. So
Right.
you have a price, but they do a very good job of tracking the quantities, and that's how we calculate where we really are. So I don't want it too quick, but, July would be good, but I was just curious.
We should better do that. Biggest thing, I want to get through some of these reconstructions first.
Yes, because you don't know what you're gonna run into.
Those are the ones that you're going to have an issue with that could
Yes.
get you in a bind.
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
okay?
Thank you very
Thank y'all.
much.
Thank you.
All right, 5D.
Resolution 22-40, accepting a certificate of substantial completion for the District 3 Armentar Park Improvement Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Broussard. I need a second.
Second.
Councilman Lewis, thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
I want to thank our neighborhood, mostly Neighborhood Watch. It's a group of people that we all get together on all parties about everything we do in that neighborhood. And they really put some effort in this park. I'm so glad that I could put about 20,000 of the 100,000 that we have to spend to put another piece of equipment in there. But, I want to thank our neighborhood, they knew who they are, for helping keep this park up. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Do we have a picture of, oh, there it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Expensive little piece of equipment.
Yeah, playground equipment is very expensive. We all found that out. Is there any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank y'all. 5E.
Resolution 22-41, approving supplemental intergovernmental agreement between Iberia Parish School Board and the City of New Iberia and the New Iberia Police Department for school resource officers.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Marcotte. Thank y'all. In this item, I'm excited to say we're adding a resource officer at another school. So we would have, at the elementary school, and so we'd have 3 resource officers. So while we did this, if you all remember, we gave raises to the police department, so I had to adjust the pay some. I don't need to make money off of the school board because they're another government entity, but we were losing too much. So this got us, kind of in line, but it's for resource officers at 3 schools.
So
Yes, ma'am.
do we know why they're putting a resource officer at Johns Hopkins? I mean, that's an elementary school.
They asked for it, and I'm glad they're doing it. I had an officer that could do that was qualified, and so it was good. But that's a request from the school board. So I said yes.
Why are you glad they do it? They're doing it?
Well, because they're paying for that person.
Oh.
In other words,
Oh, no.
if you look
Okay,
at
you're
it this
talking
way,
about no.
that's from a police side. Okay, that's 3 officers that are in 3 different schools. So if something happens, they're there. We have had some issues around the perimeter of that school, and it would be nice to have a resource officer there. We've had to lock that school down quite a few times. So having the resource officer there to keep the kids I'm glad about, to keep them safe. On the flip side, that gives me 3 officers that I had 2 before, but that gives me an additional officer that has a funding source, okay? Most police
I get
officers
that,
don't make
yeah.
the city money, okay? Well, that's gonna let me free up and hire another officer to put on the road.
No, I get that. I get the business
But-
part of it. I was just trying to figure out why they needed one over there. If they're locking down the school, I can understand
Yes.
that. But I'm just totally against having resource officers in schools unless there's some issue from the outside, because I think
Well,
it causes more
I
problems.
think that there was an issue from the outside, and so the school board asked for it, and, they've been great partners for us, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Ms. Laviolette calls me, I'll pretty well just say, yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
that was the reason.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Well,
Yes, sir.
since that school is in my district,
Yeah.
Sorry.
but I'm not a school board member.
No.
I mean, it's a new school, it's a good school. I think that it could be a good thing, Might have some kids say, hey, I want to be a police officer one day. I know we see a lot on television with that, but, I mean, in this day and age, I don't see why every school shouldn't have a resource officer in their, in their deal. I don't foresee him body slam. Now, if he do, it's gonna be some trouble. But I don't foresee, it's gonna be
I
some
didn't even
trouble.
follow that.
But I don't foresee him body slamming I think they go up to what, 4th or 6th? I don't see him.
I believe it's 6th
I
grade.
think it's 6th grade. I think
Yeah,
it's 6th grade.
I think it's 6th grade, because they go to Anderson after that.
Well, I'm gonna leave the 5th and 6th graders out of it, but up until the 4th graders, I don't see them. 5th and 6th graders could be pretty tough. I think we're gonna be all right, though. I think it's a good deal. They gonna have a police car parked at the school?
Yes, because the resource officer drives the police car to goes to the school. It's another deterrent. I think it helps with everything. I mean, I
Any
really
form
do.
of police presence in my community is bring it on.
And I look at it as a community police. That's what we built on. We're 3.5 years old. We push that constantly. What you can get with the right person is community policing every day. If you get, I don't think about the body slamming. I think the opposite of,
we saw
interacting.
a lot,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
understand.
over the
Interactions with, a cop and a child, and kind of let them see that, cops are people too, and they're not a threat. It could be a good thing. So I'm hoping that, I'm going to look at it that it's going from the community policing side. Anyway, well, Mr. Broussard?
What other two schools we have them at?
Well, we have senior high, and we have Anderson, and John Hopkins. So those are 3 schools. That's the only really 3 in the city that, we would service that are paying for it, I mean, we have other schools, but they haven't entered into a contract with us. Yes, ma'am.
You get to choose the person who's going to be at the school?
The chief of police will choose the person who's at the school in conjunction with the school board. In other words, there are already talks, and I think they already might have somebody, but they've been going back and forth. In other words, both Ms. Laviolette and Ms. Joseph, I've been in 2 meetings. I didn't get down into the weeds, but I've been to 2 meetings where they kind of discussed who they might put and that kind of thing. But I was leaving that up to the chief because, I'm going to let him decide his personnel, but I do know that the school board, of course, will have input to make sure we get,
Yeah, you want to get the right person.
well, you're right, and not every, I love my police officers, but they got a whole bunch of them. They could not be resource officers. They just couldn't. So, yeah, it has to be a good fit. You have to want to interact with kids. You have to want to work with children. You have to want to be very patient to listen to a lot of parents. It's just got a lot of dynamics to it. So you're right. Not everybody can do that. Anybody else?
Can I
Yes,
just?
yes, sir.
There was one instance where there was abandoned, it happened actually more than once, that they actually abandoned cars in front of the school. And I actually called and got, thanks to Jimmy, Jimmy got them removed immediately because it was in front of a school. But, with the trained eyes of police officers, we probably won't have those problems either. So I know the calls came from the school, and I'm glad they came, Respect the school, the church, the library. Respect those institutions.
And just understand that I'm not saying that that there may not be a need, especially if there's something from the outside. It's just that, like Ms. Ledbetter asked, we have to have the right person involved.
That's right.
In the schools, because these kids don't need to feel like they're being policed. They need to feel like this person is somebody they can turn to, and that was going to be there to help them. They don't need to feel like they're police, because that's not a good feeling. And so that's my concern with having police officers in an elementary school. That's it.
Well, I can tell you my other 2 schools, we haven't had any complaints, and there is a lot of positive interaction.
Good.
Because I do see it. Because like I said, it's an opportunity for us to have community policing, at a very young age. So I can tell you that it's working well in the other 2 schools, and I'm positive that my police administration will make sure that it works well in this school. Because for us, it's a positive thing.
Right. Okay, I'm good
But
with
it's
that.
good to have these discussions,
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
And I do think the school board monitors the effects that the resource officers are having in the school.
Oh, yeah, if we got a problem, we hear about it.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
yes.
so-
And we should. They're the paying customer.
No,
Right.
but I think that's part of the double-edged sword, checks and balance we have.
Yes, ma'am.
There have been times where I actually wish that we had a resource officer in the elementary school in my neighborhood because of outside issues happening, and they have
That's
to go on lockdown.
That's what the issue is. I mean,
Yeah, so like I hear about it, of course, because I live right there in the neighborhood, and I'm showing up because my son goes there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But I would feel more comfortable if we were able to have one, but not my decision, obviously. So I think it's a good thing, like I said, just for the outside issues that happen.
and that's the main driver of this.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, there's no other discussion. Please vote your machines. Thank you. Five F.
Resolution 22-42, authorizing the publication of notice of the filing of a petition for annexation filed by Lorraine Francis Romero et al. For annexation of an 11.252 acre tract located in Section 21, Township 12 South, Range 6 East.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Broussard and a second by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. And I have one little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to call on Jeff.
I just want to explain to you how the process works.
Yes, sir.
So what we're doing, when we annex property, we take the property into the city limits. So that it comes into the city limits, it's part of one of the election districts, and it's treated like other city property is. There's some tax issues with who gets the taxes on things that are already levied, but basically it incorporates it in the city. It's still part of the parish. So just like this ground that we're sitting on right now is part of the parish. It's still part of the parish, but it's within the city limits. And the statutes that deal with how we incorporate property into the city limits have a bunch of different sets of rules depending on the circumstances. What we have here is an 11-point-something acre tract of land that's located on the south side of Highway 90 near the intersection of 90 and 14. And it's part of the Castile and Romero property. And this 11-acre piece of land, the proposed development of this is a Love's truck stop, which has been in discussion for some time. The first step in the process that we're following is the landowners come to us and ask us to incorporate that area, which they've done. And they do that in the form of a petition that they sign. So we have all of the landowners who signed that. There are no resident voters on the property, and there are no residents at all on the property. So what we have is some land that is in cultivation right now, but there are no buildings on it. So the proposal is to bring that property into the city. So we have the petition that was drawn up, we have a certification by the assessor that says what the value is, and we have 100% of the value. We have a certification by the registrar who says that there are no voters. So then all of that is filed with the city clerk, and it comes to this body. And let me stop here to say that we have discussed this with the parish president, who supports the project and understands this is going to be a development that's going to benefit the parish also. We have asked the parish to cooperate to consent to the change in zoning that's going to happen, because in some circumstances that's necessary. That is not something that we have in hand because the parish council has not met and discussed that yet. But we've been talking to the DA's office personnel and to the parish president about how to get that done. We hope that they'll take that up at their meeting on the 23rd and give us the okay for that. But we have the power to bring this property in, and that's what we're trying to do. So we bring it before the council. The council adopts a notice resolution, which is this item here, and that's where you authorize publication in the paper of the notice that this particular piece of property is being considered for annexation into the city. At the same meeting, that is this meeting, we can introduce the amendment to the charter, which is in the form of an ordinance, to expand the city limits to incorporate this property. We file the notice of filing of the petition of annexation in the Daily Iberian, and at least 10 days after that publication, we can have our first public hearing. Now, I see on the agenda, we're talking about a public hearing on item 6A on April 5th. And can we get a 10-day publication before April 5th?
I think I did.
Okay.
Let me double check.
If we can't, we may have to go another meeting, which is what I thought we're going to have to do anyway. So, but that's item 6A. So we have 10 days after the publication of the notice telling the public what we want to do, we can adopt the charter amendment. And then we have to publish it. It's effective within 30 days. After 30 days goes by, there's certain limited time periods for people to challenge these things, but that hardly ever happens. And we have all of the landowners who are in favor of this. So we're not taking anybody's property into the parish without approval. Then we file the charter amendment. We have certain zoning things we have to deal with. And then the final step is that we send all the public bodies notices of the change. In the old days, that is until a few years ago, we had to take our process and stop it and get approval from the Justice Department under the Voting Rights Act. But that was changed. The Supreme Court says that doesn't apply anymore. So we don't have to get voting rights approval before we can move on with the annexation. So that's kind of the process that we follow. I think what's going to happen here is we're going to do our part, and then the sale will close and the development will start. But what we're trying to do is coordinate with the parish, coordinate with the purchasers, so we can get this done as soon as possible, because it's going to benefit the city and the parish when we do that. I'd like to bring up a point.
I was going to if you didn't, that's fine.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up a point also. New Iberia is a small place, and everything's connected in 5 different ways. And I had no idea this was the case, but Ricky Gonsalak called me and he says, look, I want to know what to do about this because I'm the farmer who has the cane lease on the property. And I need to know what to do because I don't want to have any ethics issues and I want to be above board about that. So what we did was, and I got the mayor's clearance, we asked the ethics board for an advisory opinion to tell us what he could do and what he could not do. Because if he's the farmer on the property, he might want to keep the lease and vote against this thing, or he might want to vote for it because his lease might say that he gets paid for the roots if the lease ends. So, it kind of could cut both ways. So we talked to the ethics board. They took this up a while back. They gave us a written advisory opinion, and it said that the councilman can speak on the subject but can't vote. So that's where we are. And he may just play it safe and not say much at all. But I just wanted y'all to be aware of that because we did take that extra step. That was weeks and weeks ago to get that advisory opinion, so we wouldn't have any issues with that. So I think this process is moving forward in several different ways with us, with the parish, and with the developer and the landowners who want to sell the property. So I think everybody's in agreement on this, but it is a process that we have to follow. Very public. We air it out in public. There's an opportunity to challenge it, which we don't anticipate, but we have to go through the process. I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all have. We haven't done this in a number of years.
And I've been waiting to do it since I got here. And I hope to do it again.
Yeah. And it's, I can't remember a challenge to an annexation by the city. And I think I've probably been involved in all of them since 2000 in one way or another, so.
All right, Councilman Swear.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. He did bring up a good point. It's a win-win for me personally, the parish, the city, and the owners of the property. Sorry, Ricky, but I know you as a person, and I'm sure you're more than happy to give up 11 acres of your farm to let the city prosper and the parish prosper, and also the family members. We also have a parish council member sitting in the room, so maybe you can go to his team over there and talk to him, and hopefully he's with us on board. So basically, that's all I have to say. I think this is great. I mean, it's something that's well needed for New Iberia to grow, and this is what we need to do. We're seeing all these other communities do it, and they're growing, and they're taking on this farmland. Sorry, Ricky, but it's pretty much what it's coming down to. So thank you.
Great. Yes, sir.
I need to clarify one thing. We're bringing it in as part of the city, so we assign it to a voting district, and District 3 is the only one that makes any sense because that's where it is. And then we also assign a zoning classification, so it's going to be a C4 highway district out there.
Good. Any other comments? Mr. Broussard?
It's in my district. Glad to see it enlarge it up, but it's smooth. I thought we'd have trouble with some of the landowners, maybe not this and that, but hey, I talked to one lady this weekend, and she was all for it.
The only way I'm going to annex is if the property owners want to come in. We are talking to other property owners, but I'm never going to do that, without, we won't have a fight from the property owners because they're going to benefit.
Now,
We bless that they're all coming on board.
and they're not giving us the rest of it.
Right.
That may or may not happen in the
Yeah.
future.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Another win for District 3. First the Pepperplex, now loves truck stop. I wish District 1 could win like you. Because I'm still waiting on a few things.
They might redistrict me and put for land I don't have any houses on. I'm losing some uptown. So I gotta worry about that.
Hey, look, we all winning. We all winning.
That's it. I just want to pick on Mr. Broussard.
I know. Good job. Yes, ma'am.
So, would the plan be in the future, once Love's built this gas station, to make them part of Economic District 1?
I would like to. The only caveat is they are already in the parish district, okay? And the parish has the largest TIF district ever, okay? I mean, it collects $250,000 a month. We have a puny little TIF district, and it collects $25,000 a month, so I'd love to have them. The one thing I have to think of, and I'm not positive on that, is the parish's TIF district is already 1 cent. Ours is half a cent. So this new company is already paying 1 cent. I don't know yet if I can bang them for another half a cent, because I do want them to succeed. So that's the one thing I'm not too positive about yet, that we haven't worked that out. I think one district can overlap another, but I think the price is starting to get too high. I want the jobs and the sales taxes, and that's what I'm after. There are some other areas that I am in talks with property owners about annexing that would be in a TIF district and wouldn't be double TIFed. But I am a little concerned to double TIF something.
Okay.
But I do want the jobs and the taxes, and we are, as we all have talked before, we are putting up money from the TIF district to bore under the highway. So, I do want a return. So I'm looking for any way I can get a return, but the jobs and the taxes are going to go a long way. It's also why I'm hopeful that we end up with the rest of that family's property and they probably, would want to sell it and develop the rest of it. So our infrastructure is going to be there. So my hope is that we will continue to develop that and, maybe a little more.
Okay. I'm like Brooke, feel free to bore under somewhere on District 5.
That's it. Jeff had his hand up again. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about the cost of the improvements that we plan to make to get sewer to
Right,
this
at one
property.
time we did previously, it's $1 million bore under the highway, and we would pay half of that. So we would be willing, we've never used any of our little TIF dollars since we turned the TIF district on, which we did. The TIF district was developed, it was there, but it wasn't activated till I became the mayor. So in 5 years, it's taken 5 years to build up $1 million, okay? We're gonna spend $500,000 to bore, and I think we have a little more than that now, but we're gonna bore under the highway with $500,000, and Love's Truck Stop is paying the other $500,000. And the reason that these other property owners that we're talking to are interested is because we're gonna put some money and some skin in the game. They're not gonna come for nothing. What their benefit is, they come into the city, they sell their property, it's being developed, developers pay good money for, new businesses that come, we get the jobs and the taxes, but the only carrot I have on the stick to offer is that we will pay for some infrastructure. Other than that, you probably wouldn't see people interested. In the past, it's been a very long time since the city's annexed, and the fact that y'all have helped and that our finances are good and that we are finding creative ways to fund some of these things, that we can offer that carrot on the stick, that is what's enticing people to do it. Because you could have you can't just go, it has to be contiguous to the city and it has to have no voters on it, but you can't just go put a rope around something and say, I'm taking your property. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You can't flagpole annex down the highway like you used to be able to do, because I would have done it, but you can't. We are, this is the only way to make these things happen.
Okay.
Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Good. And this, like I said, a long time coming. Let's hope we do this a few more times. Right, our next item, I would need a motion to expand the agenda.
Motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to expand the, yes, Jeff?
I'd like to talk about the rules.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Keep it
So-
straight.
We have a motion to expand. It has to be
Unanimous.
a unanimous vote. There is a public comment period.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to comment on it, they do. We have an ordinance provision that says that we don't vote on something in that situation with an expanded agenda unless it's an issue of public safety, health, or public peace. So I notice in the paperwork that one of the reasons we want to do this is to hold the price, which I don't think is a good enough reason to expand an agenda and vote on it. But after discussing this before the meeting, it also appears that maybe we need to do this in order to get air conditioning into the park building for the summer, which I do think is public health and safety. So I just want to lay that out there. If that's what the case is, then I think it's a proper thing to move forward on. But we would start with a motion, second, and a vote.
Okay, so, thank you. I have a motion by Councilman D. Johnson Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any discussion on this motion to expand? Then I would ask you to please vote your machines. Great, thank you. So that motion carries to expand, and now we move to that item. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 22-43, awarding contract to Harris Heating and Cooling LLC for the Sear Gates Community Center Gym Air Conditioning Replacement Project, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Motion by Councilman Dustin Swear and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there any discussion on this item?
No, I just want to say thank you. It's a long time coming, and we need to get it done. Like you said, summertime coming, so
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
appreciate it if we can go forward with it.
Yes, yes, sir.
Jeff, weren't we supposed to do public comment?
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Oh, he's asking for council.
I forgot.
you're the parliamentarian, you're
Thank
absolutely
you,
right.
man. Thank you.
Just
All
said,
right, so I got to back up.
that Jeff back up on it.
Yeah,
Back up the bus. What'd I do?
okay,
Just ask for public comment?
yeah. Open
Okay.
it up for public comment.
All right, then I need a motion to open a public comment on this item.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you for that. Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any public comment on this item? Okay.
Hello, for those of y'all that don't know me, I'm Andrew Harris, owner of Harris Heating and Cooling. The only comment I have is we're kind of hopeful for this to be summer, and there's a 23-week lead time on that air handler. There's not a 75-ton custom-fit ductwork air handler sitting in America to be shipped here. It has to be made, and that's what the factory is quoting the lead time on.
Okay.
I did email today.
It's still hot in 23 weeks.
Yeah, Siri said it's August 23rd or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
I did email, they are willing to hold the price for an additional week.
Okay.
To get.
Yeah, 'cause I gotta get this paperwork done.
Whatever ducks in a row y'all need to get, they said that wouldn't be an issue. They responded to me while I was here.
Okay.
So that's there, and if you have any questions for me or whatever, that's fine. But that's the lead time is the only thing is my concern I want to make sure everyone knows about.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, it's still hot in August, so it's still an issue.
October.
No other public comment? Then I need a motion to close our public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Dee Johnson-Reed and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Thank you. Now we head back to our item that we already had a motion and a second on, right? Okay, is there any discussion on this item? None? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. All right. 6A.
Introduction of ordinance 22-04, enlarging the boundaries of the city of New Iberia, Louisiana, and amending the charter of the city of New Iberia, and to set for public hearing on April 5th, 2022.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
Do we have time to?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
gonna run on Friday, actually.
Good. Any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. Made me nervous when you touch that button. I'm picking. Item 5B.
Introduction of ordinance number 2022-05, amending approved budget allocations for American Rescue Plan Act funds received by the city of New Iberia, and to set for public hearing on April 5th, 2022.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Dee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. And I'll just kind of tell you real quick, this is kind of a good news. We ended up with an extra $1.2 million. So I'll put in the packets what we would do with it, but I thought an explanation should be forthcoming. We're going to take $450,000 and demolish the abandoned pool house because we cannot make it work. We took the roof off of it. It is falling apart. It's just to a point that we're not going to be able to fix it. We want to take the swimming pool and turn it into a skate park and move the skate park there. That way it's monitored better by the community center. It's a great asset, but there are times that it's a little kind of distant, so things happen that shouldn't be happening. And then we get to pick up this really cool hole of a skate park and do some concrete work and really do something cool. And a little bit of extra parking for the community center because I think it's going to bring more people there. So that's the first 450. We have 150 more going to Bank Park, as we discussed earlier, because we do feel that we need to be hopping up Bank Park. Then we have 200,000, I'm excited about this one. We'd have $200,000 for Public Works to clean out all of our major canals. So that could be good. We have a long reach excavator. There might be some that Public Works can't get to, so I might have to sub out a little bit of it. But that 200, we've never attempted that, you know, with this kind of money in the city. So, and Joe can make that money go pretty darn far. So I think that that's a big plus. The next one, this item was brought to me by Councilwoman Dee Dee Johnson-Reed, and we would participate in the STEM Festival and a partnership with Iberia Parish School Board to offer the STEM program and STEM activities in the city schools for 1 year. Now, the caveat is they have to partner with us, you know, but that is something that could really be neat, and it is needed, and we are already talking about ways to spin off of that and maybe do more, but I think that that's important. Then the remaining funds, which is about $313,985 to be exact, will end up going to West End Park. We have some additional projects and additions for the park. So that kind of rounds off what we would do, and it's kind of evenly spent. As y'all all know, ARPA, we're trying to reach neighborhoods, we're trying to reach parks, we're trying to get out and increase our quality of life and our opportunities for our citizens. So I think all of that money fits the bill, and it certainly doesn't hurt to do some drainage either. So any questions or comments?
Yeah, Mal.
Yes, sir.
Just looking at the numbers, basically when you read them, and you left the balance at 313 for West End, which is great, but do we need any contingencies if drainage goes over? Do we have any contingencies built in?
You know, we don't at this time, but we have other money that we're spending. We're also hoping and waiting. Remember, we have $1 million still in our main ARPA plan for drainage.
I know.
So I figured that between the 1.2, I had enough. I'm still hopeful that if a drainage portion comes out from the state, we'll submit that $1 million to try to get, you know, $4 million.
Right.
So I think for now, we're fine. And, you know, Joe does have some drainage money in his budget. We also still have our drainage fund from mosquito control. So my overage for the ARPA, let's just say I need another $100,000, okay? We just didn't get to 2 canals or 3 canals. We can take it out of our mosquito control money that is there for drainage. So that's my backup.
Well, I'm a big drainage, I think drainage is important in the municipality, but Joe, we don't own a long reach, correct?
Not a long
Are we
reach.
gonna need a contract out with this money?
Some of it
Okay, so
will.
we will.
There's a lot we can do with our new excavator, but you're right, we don't, it's not a long reach.
I didn't know if we have to use some concrete.
No, some of that I think we'll sub out or, you know, get some prices. Yeah, or rent one. I'll rent one. Well, I'm kind of leaning toward renting one.
Well, the reason I'm saying is because we hadn't done this in a long time. This is, to me, it's extremely important.
Yes, sir.
And so we gotta get it done.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to pick on the parish council, but I think, does the parish own a long reach?
They do, and we have a cooperative endeavor agreement, and we have actually done some man hours to go toward a trade off of that, but it's often very busy. The parish is a big parish. I'm not saying I won't try, but I don't know if it'll work, so we got to have a backup
The
plan.
reason why I ask, I have a major one in my district, and that's T-by-U, so we haven't talked about it in a while, and
I know.
I think it's something hopefully that can be addressed one of these days, so.
Well, I'm
that's why
hoping that this is, you
Picking
know.
at the man in the room over there, so.
Yeah, I know. He'll help us. That's a good thing about Paul. He's always up to help. Anybody else?
Me.
Yes, ma'am.
This drainage money, would that be able to help that ditch on Daspit Trailer Park side?
Would,
build
that's
it
the
up?
M10 you're talking about. We would clean. I'm not looking to, that's not any money to rework banks or, that's to clean the canals to make them flow better. But what's in your district is the M10, which is the same canal. I'm still trying to find the money and get the property, and that's a big old deal, but where we would put the retention pond that would greatly help Acadian Acres. But we don't lose anything, we actually gain. If we go and dig out the M10 now, that's part of that project. So your drainage basin, if you will, all flows that way and then flows out to Bayou Teche. So definitely the M10 will get some help from this.
Okay, there's that big coulee on side of Daspit Trailer
Mm-hmm.
Park that's eroding though. And I know we talked about putting some kind of material to help it to stop eroding.
Right,
'cause
right.
there's
That would be
things
a-
that's about to fall in.
Right. That's the intent.
Okay.
That's the intent. But the first thing I gotta do is clean it out, because
Okay.
it doesn't pay to do, I don't have money to do that much at once. And the first thing I wanna do is dredge it, because it's clogged up at the end, and that's where a lot of your water's backing up.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's the same canal.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So Freddie, that would also include the canal that's running on Ann Street?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Underneath Amador?
Well, I'm gonna do the best I can. I've sent pictures. I've crawled under there myself. I can't get the state, and neither has Joe been able to clean out under that bridge. And it's terrible.
It is.
I don't know that I can reach that. I mean, we're gonna get what we can on each side of it, but the state at some point is gonna, I'm hoping in the process of while we're cleaning this, of course, I will try to put pressure again, ask nicely, do whatever. I haven't moved them yet, but, you can go look, cause I have, and under that bridge is really, an issue.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
starts
I know.
raining and the thing is full,
I know.
so,
I know.
yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
We all have them. Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of the state, are they gonna do anything to help the drainage with Summerfield? Like possibly put bigger drainage holes?
I can request again. I mean, that's
Okay.
one that we have time and time again. But I don't mind. I'll ask them again.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? No? Good. Well, then, I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank y'all very much. Okay. Hang on, let me move my paperwork here. All right, item 7A.
Kevin Zarang to present monthly budget reports for January 1, 2022 through January 31, 2022.
I was like, did I catch everything?
Now, curb your enthusiasm. I know this is what y'all all been waiting for.
I'm just wondering if we in trouble with all
For
these sticky
sure.
notes.
Right.
Oh, we're doing great.
All we've been hearing is good news, and then you come up, huh?
Got them sticky notes on.
Thanks, Dustin.
Hey, but I like your shirt.
Oh, well, thank you. Made up for it. All right, so what we'll do is, if y'all okay, is we'll do them in summary as we've done in the past. And if you have any particular questions, just stop me and I'll answer to the best I can.
Yes, sir.
So we're doing this from, I apologize, I should have said November 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2022. That's 3 months, that's period 3, so should be at 25% of our budget. General fund, budgeted revenue is 27 million, we're at 6.5, leaving us at 24.07% for revenue. Expenses are budgeted at 27.4, we at 5.4, so we're at 20%, so the revenue is a little down, but the expenses are also. Parks and Recreation, budgeted revenue is 1.2, we're at 751, leaving us at 62.6, which is same as prior months because of the way we recognize the ad valorem. Expenses are 1.4, we're at 221,000, leaving us at 15.31.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Parks and Rec. We're at 15% on expenses. Is there a reason why I know we always talk about being conservative and all this, but when it comes to Parks and Rec, are we supposed to be seeing some spending happening, or?
That is mainly due to capital projects to be done.
Okay.
As far as for their purchasing equipment and purchasing items and stuff, that's gotten better. Remember last
Okay.
year I put the
That's why I
charge
asked that
on them.
question,
I
'cause we
need you to
always
start spending
discuss-
money. They are.
I remember that.
They all ran out of the room to talk to Richard Romero, I believe, but they are.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you that has increased, and I've asked for that because last year they were way too conservative and waited way too long. They are purchasing. I mean,
Okay.
I've been seeing it, so,
Well, it's good. They purchased and they're still at 15%, so.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay. All right.
Mayor, you can
Some of that's the big
confirm it.
projects.
such as the roof and
Yeah,
AC
which
we're
bids
about to
tomorrow.
put in.
You know, I mean, we have a project tomorrow that's, you know,
That's gonna take up a good bid.
600 and something $1,000. I think it's not gonna come in that high. I think it's gonna be more like 400,000, 350, 400. Then we're gonna take the additional money and come back to y'all and go to the state and go do some improvements inside the two community centers, but that's a big chunk of it. You know, we have the air conditioning replacement that y'all voted on.
Yeah.
We had that in there, you know, or at least a portion of that, so.
So if I stand corrected, with the roof replacement and AC units, we're gonna be up to almost $750,000 on the building this year, right?
Between the two, yes,
Yeah.
between the two buildings.
So it's gonna get a facelift of $750,000, which is
Yes.
badly needed, and I think it's gonna be a great asset.
Both of them, and then we have more money coming from the state and additional ARPA money, but it's just, it's not that we are being frivolous with our money, it's that these centers look like they looked in 1960. I mean, we are, you know, just bringing them up to speed.
All right, thank you for clearing it up.
Sure.
Public Works, budgeted revenue is 1.8, we're at 966, which is 54.64. That's also due to the way we recognize the ad valorem or the property taxes. On their expenses, 2.5, they're at 580, putting them at 23.3% of their expenses. Sales tax, revenue is budgeted at 9.8, we're at 2.6, leaving us at 26.63 on revenue. Expenses, 12.2 million, we're at 3 million, leaving us at 24.95, which is 25%. Public Safety Fund, which is the police tax, 3.8, we're at 1.01, leaving us at 27.09. Expenses budgeted at 3.8, we're at 937, so they're at 24.94, 25%. Garbage Fund, 4.5 million, we're at 1.2, leaving us at revenue of 26.7%. Expenses, 4.5, actuals, 1.1, we're at 24.86, 25%. Section 8 vouchers, 1.4, revenue, 338,000 at 24.38% revenue. Expenses of 1.4 and 362, leaving us at 25.9% of our expenses. Wastewater Fund, revenue of 4.9, actuals 1.2, leaving us at 24.91. Expenses of 5.3, actuals of 1.1 and 19.88. These numbers were adjusted for revenue and expenses for pursuant to the grants and major projects because they would skew the numbers, so this has been adjusted for wastewater.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions, comments? No?
I'm assuming the Cliff Oakland building is because we're getting ready to finish, that's why it's at 65%.
Yeah, we have spent some money on the Cliff Oakland building. We've changed the roof. We are now just about finished with the meeting center, the rest of the conference tables, and the only thing I'm waiting on now is a lectern and a conference table for the smaller conference room. But the big room, we're fast getting it finished. So it's coming along.
Excellent.
Coming along.
Okay.
So Freddie,
Yes, sir.
on the projects that are listed in the ARPA money, say wastewater, or not wastewater, say like the Parks and Rec, or is the money gonna run through the Parks and Rec fund, or I know we had a ARPA fund set up?
We have our own sub-fund set up for ARPA because all the money is going to
Right.
be tracked, you know, as a separate.
So we're not dumping it into like Parks and Recs and feed it to
No,
them?
each project will be its own. Each project has to be solicited for the architecture, for the engineering.
Okay.
Each project has to be bid in our normal procurement laws, and it's gonna have a whole lot of documentation, so, but they will each be run separately. When you look at that list that we put in the packet that had all the projects right there, that's kind of basically the project numbers and kind of how we tracking them, each one.
So it's gonna have a different line item for the budget in the
Yes.
future?
Yes, and we haven't started spending any of it yet. We have our first report due. We haven't spent anything yet, really. But it's coming, it's coming.
So as we start spending, I guess we'll see a budget in our
Yes,
packet?
you will, you will.
Yeah, we can add that to the budget to actual
We
as we go
definitely
if
will
y'all
have
would
to.
like.
Any other questions? Thank you, Kevin.
It's a pleasure speaking to y'all.
All right,
Nice to see you, Kevin.
Councilman's remarks, I'll start with Brooke. Oh, well, skip, oh, I'm
There's your
sorry,
Public Works.
we got a project spotlight. I forgot about that. I don't want to forget about that. Good. Madam Clerk, item 8A.
Project Spotlight, and it's Public Works Department citywide drainage maintenance program.
Cool. And what we try to put together, see Joe's in the back. We just really want to kind of show you a little quick presentation of what they've been doing, cleaning drains and.
I don't know, okay, here it is, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My sugar's low.
Who's the public speaker for Public Works?
Joe, come on up, Joe.
I thought we had somebody important.
We do, man.
Nice to be here.
All right.
Hello, Joe.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Ms. Lady.
Joe, you want me to read it or you want to read it?
Read it for me.
Okay. So the Public Works Department inspected and performed routine maintenance on 2,080 drains citywide in 2021. The maintenance includes removing litter, trash, and debris from drains and culverts on the surface, repairing and replacing broken, damaged, and non-functioning drains to ensure optimal flow. Those are some nice drains there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quite nice.
And this is some before and afters.
They had the one to the left with the holes in it. It wasn't draining at all, so we put a grill on out now.
Good job on my street.
Good job.
They also clear subsurface drainage of mud, grass, and litter by hand, by shovel, or vacuum to ensure optimal flow.
So as we get ready to go into spring,
season.
it's grass cutting season.
you got extra
Please,
people.
residents, do not let your grass go into the drains because we have to, our people have to spend time doing
That's the
this.
main problem. People, they belong, leaves and grass all in the street all the
That's
time.
right, that's
I
right.
send pictures of Miss Earn every time I stop people from belonging.
We have an ordinance against
Yeah,
that. We
ordinance
also
against
have a
it,
little
still
kind of boilerplate letter that we send out when people complain, trying to get those, you know.
That mud from the leaves right there.
Stop that.
I mean, this
It
is,
stops it up.
yeah, it does. Wow.
Before and after that.
They also
project.
replace the drainage pipes when it's necessary. This is in the West End Park, I believe.
Yeah, the Western Park.
We got some big issues there.
There's some big issues there. Had to change it with 20-foot of pipes, 36 inches.
Yeah.
So special thanks to the City of New Iberia's Public Works Department for all of their hard work.
And what we're trying to do, like I said, we track the number of drains. It also helps us with our MS4 that we need to meet those state requirements. But we're really trying to document more of this. Not that they weren't always doing it, they were, but we weren't really documenting it. So now we're really trying to keep track, document, you know, we got all the work tickets, so we can show for the MS4 what we're doing, plus show the community.
Yeah, the community needs to know how much work it takes to kind of keep these things clean because our residents are part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. You'll find bicycle parts in the drains, guns, knives,
Yeah,
blinds, all kind of stuff from property owners.
Yep.
They put these stuff on top of the drains, and when it rains or something, it all washes in the drain.
exactly.
Yep.
And then they get upset because we have a lot of
upset,
flooding. It's like, guys, we gotta help Public Works help us.
Yeah. Help us help you.
Yes,
Yep. Good. Well, thank you, Joe. Thanks for all you and your whole department does.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, now we move on to Councilman Mark. Councilman Marcotte.
Okay, I'm sad that I'm missing Festival of Live Oaks this weekend. Of course, we have a baseball tournament. So Dustin, you might stand a chance if you're in the cook-off, are you? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Because my husband won't be cooking, so. Take first place
Talk
in
smack and
everything. No, that's all I had. I really wish I would be able to attend though, but
Thank you.
won't be able to do it this year. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, another condolences goes out to the family of Reverend B.J. Robinson, Burnell Robinson, 97 years old. Again, stalwart soldier of the civil rights movement. He will be sadly missed, Reverend B.J. Robinson. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
All right, thank you. Sorry.
Hey, Joe, we didn't talk about the roads you're doing, cement streets. We see you, we want to give those workers a heavy applause too. Because we do, it goes without notice, we see a lot of that going on. So any cement street you see in my district, you can fix them anytime you want.
There you go, Mr. Broussard. Yes, sir.
So just FYI on the drainage issue, I am continually working with our state rep on the tire issue, and we do have a resolution that's going to be introduced in the state level to increase the fines on dump tires and for the second and first and second offense to substantially. So we're going to try to, stem some of that dumping. We couldn't attach the serial numbers to the driver's license because it's batch numbers, but we're working on some other ideas. But we are trying to address the tire issue because we do have a lot of tires and ditches. But other than that, Dustin, I did not call the ethics board, but I am judging, and you are a chef, so I don't know if there's going to be a conflict of interest.
I just don't, I won't tell you what I'm cooking or what I'm wearing, so you probably won't know, so.
Whatever. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to remind everybody that our neighborhood watch is starting up again. It's going to be Thursday, this Thursday, the 17th at 6 o'clock at the Slyman. Come on out.
Thank you.
The Downtown Neighborhood Association is going to sponsor another cleanup for the downtown area to get us ready for Easter and hopefully for spring. We hope to clean up some of the branches and trees and things like that that are just kind of hanging, things that Public Works can't do for the community. We feel like we need to kind of continue to work on that. We're hoping we'll be able to get some trash cans on the street somewhere and things like that. And one thing I'll say is that residents, please, please, please don't start throwing your grass in the drains. That's a really big problem. And I don't want to be the one to say, hey, we need to go back and amend our ordinance and add a fine. Because there's no fine associated with it, but that might be a deterrent. I don't know. I don't want to do that, but I mean, it's a big problem. And people call me about it all the time. So take heed, guys.
Thank you.
Because I'll do it.
Justin.
Joking.
Yeah,
That's funny.
of course, I want to bring up Festival of Live Oaks. I want to thank Ms. Marcotte, Pro Tem, for bringing it to light. We're trying to, get as many people out there as we can. But not only are we having the barbecue cook-off, but they have a lot of things for kids and others. So Easter egg hunts, bring your own Easter basket. That's going to begin at 9:30 for between 1 and 5-year-olds. And then 10 a.m. with the 6 to 9-year-olds, and 10:30 a.m. it goes from the 10 and 12-year-olds. So bring your own basket. That has to be hosted by Unite the City. 9 a.m. was craft and sweet booths. We have fun jump, pony rides and petting zoo, face painting, live entertainment. The barbecue goes on sale at 10:30, and awards are announced at 1:15. I also want to thank, Ricky had pointed out earlier to me, you went ahead and donated some pitch for the kids. We're having the kids cook-off this year, so it looks pretty promising. We have a few teams there. We did have a little bit of decline in the teams for the adult cooking, but I can understand with a lot of things going on right now with inflation and all those other things. It's getting harder and harder for people to do things, and I get it. We just need all the support we can get. It's going to be a great day. I checked the weather today. It's going to be an awesome weekend. So if y'all want to come out, please. It's a great fundraiser. It actually supports our city parks. So once again, that's Saturday and 9 a.m. till. Thank you.
Can I ask you one question? Have we got some barbecue vegetables on the grill? I don't eat meat.
Hey, to each his own.
But can you barbecue me some vegetables? Can you put me some vegetables on the grill?
Sounds like you need another team.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it.
A vegan team.
A new cook-off. A new cook-off. All right, I have some announcements. Our clerk's going to read the first one, and this has to do just for the public's information. Come November, we're going to go to an election about a millage for roads. It's not going to cost any more money. We're going to pay a millage off, and then this is going to be a new millage at the same rate. So you wouldn't pay any more taxes, and it is a way that we can continue our road program. What the city's done that's been a big problem is fix roads, float a bond, spend between 8, we're up to 12.5 million, fixes 15 to 20% of the roads, and then don't do anything for 10 to 14 years because they're broke. Well, you didn't fix the other 80% of the roads, so they're now in really bad shape, and the ones you fixed are now 10 to 14 years old. So we got to break that cycle. So this is a way that will cost no new money. We'll be able to immediately bond out $10 million more for the roads, including the 12.5 we're already spending. In addition to that, there would be some dedicated to road maintenance of $750,000 a year for 20 years, so that's $15 million. And then at 10 years, the next mayor, the first 10 that we would borrow would be paid off. The next mayor could borrow $10 million more. So for no new money, just by kind of looking at it and reshuffling the deck, that's $35 million that could be put into our roads. That will start to change the cycle that we're in of fix and then do nothing. So we're proposing it. It's going to go to an election in November. I'm putting a presentation together. I'll be going doing town halls and trying to just show people that for no new tax money of millages, you know, we have a plan and a much better plan at attacking our road issues. And this has to be read verbatim, so take it away, Madam Clerk.
Announcement of public meeting. Notice is hereby given that at its meeting to be held on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. at its regular meeting place, the City Hall Council Chambers, 457 East Main Street, New Iberia, Louisiana. The City Council of the City of New Iberia, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in the City of New Iberia, State of Louisiana, to authorize the levy of ad valorem taxes therein.
Thank you. And there'll be a lot of steps along the way, as you've seen with other things that we've brought to the voters, but that's the first one. Other than that, we have our special meeting, which is coming Tuesday, March 29th at 1:30. And if y'all remember, that's about redistricting. That's where we plan on putting it on the big screen and all working on it together and trying to knock it out. Our next council meeting is April 5th. Please participate, citizens and council members, with our MS4 stormwater survey on the city's website. And we still have adjudicated properties for sale. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
There you go.